Howdy folks.
What's going on? Welcome back to another episode of Bush Rats. I'm Young Lee.
I'm Tony, and today we're talking tackle.
Tackle talk with the boys.
Yep.
Going through what's in our tackle boxes here. Just a little bit of an insight. We've never done anything like this before, but hey, could be something different.
Yeah. Where are we going to start? I reckon we'll start with a good beginner's lure, and that means we're going to be talking about spinners. Spinners are a good way to get started on these redfin perch. They're kind of fun. You can always, it's just like a constant retrieve, so it keeps you busy. Where are we going to start? This is my favourite little spinner here. This is a little one that we picked up on eBay from a seller in the eastern states.
Got a couple of them.
Yeah, but that's just a nice colour. Got a bit of red on the hook, which the perch seem to like. But I mean, you can get a hold on all these kind of things at your local kind of supermarket or big chain store.
Yep, they got them at Red Dot and everything, so they range from, what's that, about 10 grammer?
Yep.
Good for casting long distance out the dams.
Yep, 7 grams is more kind of like your go-to weight. You get a good cast and with a steady retrieve, you're not going to snag up too much.
Yep.
And then you can even go a bit smaller. Go these little 3.5 grammers. So I think the ones that we run, the China ones, they're more of that kind of 5 gram. So you get kind of the best of both worlds. You're not hooking up on the bottom too much.
Yep, it's got a nice sink to it. So
but you're also getting that good length on your casts. And yeah, you can pick them up at Big Dub, Kmart,
BCF, Anaconda,
yeah,
eBay.
Good way to get into fishing for perch. And one of Tony's favourite ways of catching perch. So
yep,
check out the spinners. What we got next?
Next we're talking divers.
So when we say divers, we're talking about lures with bibs generally. Americans might call them crankbaits. You might see dudes fishing for bass with them and stuff like that, but they're also pretty effective on a perch.
They range from minnow shape to little fat cranks to big bunter ones like this.
Yeah.
Oh boy, yeah, look at him.
That's a good example of a big boy. But you can just see you're going to have that double treble hook, so a lot more hookups. The big bib on the front, and basically when you're retrieving that one, that bib's going to help that lure to dive down.
Yep.
And you're going to be imitating like a minnow.
Some like go side to side, some vibrate.
Yeah, a lot of them have rattles in them, so that rattle is going to help kind of attract the fish as well. Get a lot for like trout imitations. Just straight minnow kind of imitations in silvers.
They're the same, you can pick them up at Big Dub, BCF.
Yeah, there's this whole range of super brims they're called. So obviously like they're good for brim fishing, but also good for the perch, and they're available at Kmart and Big Dub and all those kind of stores, and they're at a relatively good price too. So if you get into perch fishing and you find you've had enough of the spinners, maybe start tying on some of these hard body divers.
Yep, they get pretty expensive too. You're talking maybe up to 20 bucks for something this sort of size, or you can get them down from eBay.
Yeah,
some of these little shallow ones.
A couple of our faves
for about $1.
This little guy here, little not that into brand names, but little Savage Year fat cranks.
Yep,
they got a good dive on them. They're about 5 grams, so they're good for casting.
That's probably why we caught the most fish on, really. Yeah,
this little black one, I mean, we started off with them and we seem to like them a lot. They seem to get a lot of fish. Sometimes I think the perch think they're a little marron. But anything dark, sometimes clear, a bit longer. Gonna be imitating a marron of some description or some kind of minnow.
Even out the trout, use a few of these, what are these ones, Halcos?
Yeah.
Little Halcos as well, they got good action to them as well.
It's a WA company too, so good to see some local gear out there.
That's about it for the divers, that's it.
I guess the other thing we've been getting into a lot is the soft plastics.
Yep, few soft plastics.
So
now these range pretty far and wide, eh?
Yeah, I mean, we've been pretty hot on these little marron imitations. There's a few different colours of those at the moment. They're usually pretty good on the perch in some seasons. Some bigger kind of profile, again, marron baits.
Yep.
Some of the force lures, they put out this nice creature bug, which is kind of like a marron, kind of like some kind of creature.
Yep.
Imitating some kind of little mollusk or some kind of crustacean.
All the way down to grubs. Grubs are pretty basic as well. You just pop them along the bottom there.
And I think for most of the spots we fish, we've been finding that the wormless hooks, or the weedless hooks, sorry, which are sometimes called a worm hook, we're finding that they work kind of the best. They're just super simple, But it's just about the way that you're rigging up your plastic and the way you can hide that.
Yep.
The,
weedless, snagless jig heads as well.
Yeah.
Quite expensive, but they work
So
pretty.
it's just a nice. I don't know if you can see that on the camera, but yeah, nice weedless hook. Keep that hook point kind of hidden away in the plastic, and then it's all a matter of really letting the fish kind of grab that plastic and then set the hook. And they've been going really well for us. So
yep,
it's just a bit of a short look at what we're kind of using.
The plastics tend to be a lot slower game. You can search a bit more of the water along the bottom.
Definitely.
The divers is a bit fucking zip zip.
Yeah, definitely got to be a bit more patient sometimes with the plastics, but sometimes you're going to get those fish that you might otherwise miss with the spinners or the divers. So just playing that long game, playing that kind of imitation game with the...
Some days the divers work well, some days you're only going to get them on the plastics.
Yeah, but I've been loving these like Marin imitations. It's kind of like a whole different thing compared to the divers and the spinners. These, you're going to get them on kind of that hunger bite or that eating bite rather than just that reaction bite. But yeah, get into them. Let us know what you like using. Comments below. Otherwise, get out there and catch yourself a couple of redfin.
Yeah. Miscellaneous. You got anything in the way of miscellaneous? Got to do a miscellaneous section as well, I reckon.
Yeah, I got some other random stuff.
Yep. A lot of the Europeans tend to use these ones.
Yeah.
Chatterbaits.
Chatterbait, so it's like kind of like a
skirted hook.
Yeah, skirted jig head they call it.
Yep.
And then you've got that little kind of vibrator panel on the front. You can get these for 20 bucks if you want to spend a lot of money, or you can get on the internet and search them up on eBay and you can get them quite cheaply. Another little bait which can transfer well is the old the Vibe.
Yep.
They're just some cheap vibes there.
Good for brim as well, apparently.
Yeah, apparently. Haven't got into the brim that much, but they don't work too bad on the old perch.
Little mini ones?
Yeah, little McFly.
McFly.
Haven't had too much luck on them ourselves, but we have caught a few on the Vibes. But probably not our go-to bait.
Nah.
What else you got in yours?
Got the classic spoon. Comes with every tackle box kit when you buy them.
Yeah.
I've been running these a little bit, but I still haven't caught a fish on them yet. But they look the goods. Maybe more of a whiting rig.
Yeah. What are these little things here?
They're the little Tassie Devils. So these are meant to be really good for catching trout.
Apparently they're a trout bait.
Yep.
But we found that they work just as good on the perch. Caught a few little perch on them, on the clown.
Yep, they've got a
rainbow.
Bit of a side-to-side swim action, but...
Yeah, and they're just loaded up with the treble usually on the end and a bead.
Yep. That's
yeah.
about it, miscellaneous-wise. What else are we talking? What about bait fishing? A few worms.
Yeah.
We used a few worms. I wonder if these March flies will fucking work, but...
Yeah.
No. Worms, we usually just run the old classic long shank hooks, some light sinkers, down to a float of some kind, depending on how much current you got running.
Yeah.
Depending how deep it is.
Keep it pretty simple, just like a beach rig really. Old Paternoster rig, Patagonia.
Yep.
Running sinker rigs.
2 hooks.
All of those are kind of applicable to fishing for perch in a dam or a river.
Yep. Caught a lot of trout on the old worms, not so much on the lures, but worms working the treat. What else you got in your tackle box, Tone?
That's about it.
Anything else worth talking?
No.
A few gauges.
Couple of gauges, crabs.
Can't go past the bell when you're worm fishing.
Yeah. I think that's about it.
We've got a few questions here as well from Instagram. We were talking tackle. A few people wanted to know a couple of things here and there.
What do you got?
What do we got? Let's find some questions here. First up, B_rad. Brad.
B-Rad.
B-Rad.
Thanks for the question, B-Rad.
If you had to choose only 2 lures for redfin, what would they be? Savage crank.
Yeah, probably savage little fat crank. And
I'd probably want to try these force creature baits.
Yeah, some kind of little Marin kind of impersonator. Yeah.
Yep. I don't think you go too far past those 2 as a combo.
No, I mean if the perch are hungry, they're definitely going to go kind of like a minnow masquerader, and definitely apparently they eat Marin, so we've definitely caught fish on those Marin imitators. So
yep.
Yeah. Thanks, B-Rad. Thanks for the question.
Thank you.
What's your favourite?
Yeah, what's your favourite?
Yeah, let us know.
Next question we got from Max Lindley, 2001. Whole worm on a hook or half a worm on one hook?
Oh, whole worm at least.
Yeah, 2 worms.
Maybe not. Yeah, maybe if not 2 worms, 3 worms. You want them to see it. You want to see them to see some movement.
If they pull one off, you've got another one still on there.
Yeah, absolutely. The more worms, the merrier.
Yep. I'm all about running 2 or 3 hooks on the line too.
I'm one worm Tony, but you know, I have been known to put on a couple of worms if I haven't. So yeah, definitely more than one worm.
Cruising WA wants to know what's more successful between diving minnows, spinners or plastics?
I think it all depends on the season, maybe.
Where you are as well.
Yeah, but I think they all kind of definitely have their day.
Yep.
We've probably had the most success on the kind of the minnows, the diving, the hard body divers.
Yep.
Yeah, but I mean,
you love your spinners. I hate spinners.
Yeah, I grew up using spinners, so I always kind of fall back to them if I can't catch anything. But good question. But I think they're all,
depending on the day, some can work better than others.
Yeah, I mean, these redfin are pretty hard to work out, and they don't really seem to follow too many patterns.
Yeah, fish of 1,000 casts.
Yeah, so get on the spinners, get on the divers, get on the soft plastics, and just get out there and see what works for you.
Test them all out.
Yep.
Yarn Com wants to know whether you skate or BMX. It's not really a fishing question.
Well,
I used to skate.
Yeah, I used to ride BMX, so
down the skate park.
Definitely too old to be out there on the pushy or the skateboard these days, really.
Bust your knees. No good for fishing.
Bad ankles.
Brad Simpson wants to know perch rod and reel setup.
Well, as far as we go, just trying to use as lighter gear as possible.
Yep.
We're not about using like 50 kilo line or like 100 kilo braid or 100 pound braid or anything like that. We're kind of running as light as we can. So I'm running a 1 to 3 kilo rod and 1,000 reel most of the time. So, but yeah, so something like a 1,000 or a 2,000, 2,500 reel, and something like a 1 to 3 kilo or 2 to 4 kilo rod, usually in like graphite or carbon.
And 4 pound line, 4 to 6.
Yeah, absolutely. Nice and light. Yeah, just keep it friendly and give the fish a chance.
Ollie fishing. Will we ever go to Victoria for some cod and yellers? One day maybe?
Yeah, I'm keen. I got a lot of family in Victoria, so I could definitely see myself stealing some couch space and hitting some lakes.
You might have to do what everyone else is doing, get a Patreon on the go. Get
Yeah,
some funds raised.
I know Levi's got a bit of vertigo, so it's kind of hard to travel a lot.
Yep.
But yeah, definitely keen to hit some other states, maybe even other countries for some perch, and just keep on that perch trail.
Yep. If anyone knows where the dam with some silvers or some koi carps are, let us know as well.
Anything freshwater, we're into it.
Yep. Here we go. We've got Jimmy Meenan.
Jimmy Eat World?
Yeah. He wants to know what lure would you use to get a decent enough cast, size and weight for distance?
Around that 7 gram mark, you're going to get a hell of a cast.
Yep.
But you're probably going to get too fast of a sink. So
4 to 5s usually.
Yeah.
Unless you're out of the big waters on the dam edge sort of thing.
Yeah.
A bit bigger.
Yeah, I mean, you got to obviously work on your cast, work on that flick, and practice makes perfect. So just work on your casting really. But 7 grams probably as heavy as you really want to go fishing for perch, we've found. And then if you can kind of get a good cast out of something that's more like 5 grams, 4 or 5 grams, if you can get a good cast with that, then you're going to have a good fall rate, and it's going to look more realistic in the water.
Yep.
So yeah, that answers that question.
Then we've got time for 2 more.
2 more questions.
Yep. We've got Matthew Parrish. What's your dream fish to catch?
Any perch over 50 centimetres?
Yeah, big 50 would be nice.
Yeah, we're all about the perch really. So
I wouldn't mind getting a what are they called?
Murray cod.
Murray cod or a barramundi one day.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna, you know, expand our horizons eventually. But at the moment, we're pretty kind of like focused on this perch. And yeah, any perch over 50 centimetres is a dream fish. So
in the southwest, we've really only got the perch and the trouts, rainbow and yellow, browns.
Yeah.
And march flies, plenty of march flies.
Yeah, plenty of march flies around.
But yeah, if we find something else, we'll get them.
Trying to bust that 50.
Yep. And we got one more, James Sums. He wants tips for snaring marron. I'd say bring Shane.
Yeah, I'd say don't bother.
Yep.
I'd say fish some waters where you're going to be allowed to use drop nets.
Yep.
Or you're going to be able to use scoop nets.
Snaring was hard work.
Yeah, the old bush pole.
Yeah.
A lot of work. I suppose it'd be something that you could get good at with practice again. But we haven't really spent much time doing it, so
next season.
Yeah, I remember I used to live on a property with a dam, and we would literally take the dinghy out and drop crab nets for them. So I guess practice makes perfect with the old bushman snare, but otherwise get on the nets if you can, and get on the scoop nets.
You've heard it from the man. Well, that's it. Tackle Talk with Bush Rats. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, thanks for the questions. Drop some more questions in the comments below. Otherwise, see you out there.
Yep. On tracks. Take it easy.